Have faith, Josh 10/9/45. That was my vision that I saw on Saturday, the 12th of May 2012, as I was waking up from a dream. And it was written on a piece of paper. I couldn't remember the dream, but I could remember the message after I woke up, so I wrote it down. And since then I've linked it to a few weather events, and I decided to give it another whirl in relation to this year's hurricane season in the Atlantic. So September is the 9th month, and today is the 1st of September, where I am. It is the 9th month of the year. I is the 9th letter of the alphabet, and Irma is the 9th named Atlantic tropical storm of 2017. And today is, like I said, it is the 1st of September, where I am. It is about just coming on around 2 o'clock. I don't think that time's quite right, but it's close. And if I just go to, oh yeah, this is what I use for working things out, like if I want to know the value of something, jungle equals 69. If I want to know like what Jake equals, it adds up the letters according to their place in the alphabet. So there you go, Jake is 27. So this is really handy because you can do really long things and makes it a lot quicker than sitting around with a calculator. And I was going to say, there you go, it's 11:22, right on 11, on Thursday the 31st of August, 2017. And of course Jacob Wetling was 11 years old when he was abducted. And this is the time in St. Paul, Minnesota, which is one of the twin cities in Minnesota. And Jake was from St. Joseph, which is near St. Cloud, which is not too far from Minneapolis in Minnesota. And that is the time where Jake was from, St. Joseph. It is now almost 11:01 on Thursday, the 31st of August, 2017. So it's almost the end of the day. And it is the next day where I am. So from Jake's point of view, it's tomorrow where I am now. And here we have something interesting, figure 1. So Jacob equals 31, and figure 1, this is a visible satellite image of Irma at 9:45 AM Eastern Daylight Time, Thursday, August 31, 2017. A prominent eye began appearing in the morning hours. And here you go, this is the image of Irma, the most recent hurricane in the Atlantic. And I can show you where I got that from too. It's from Weather Underground and Category 6 blog. So the latest article is Category 2 Irma rapidly intensifying in Eastern Atlantic, big long-range questions. And this article is by Dr. Jeff Masters, and it's from August 31, 2017 at 2:20. And that image is from the 31st of August. It's a microwave image. And the image that I just showed you, which is that one, is visible satellite image of Irma at 9:45 AM Eastern Daylight Time, as I read before. Same description. But the important thing is the time, 9:45 on August 31. Because, like I said at the start, that was the time in my dream. So that's come up twice now because Hurricane Harvey also made landfall in Texas. Its first landfall was at 9:45 PM on the 25th. That was Friday the 25th. Or it might have been the 24th. Either way, it was definitely 9:45 PM. So, Friday the 1st of September 2017 plus 5 days equals Wednesday the 6th of September 2017, so we're 5 days away from the date that I've been talking about. 9 standard work hours in a day. 5 till 9, 9 till 5. Depends what shift you work, I suppose. Rain equals 42. Creek And again, I can just show you if you want me to prove it. Rain Creek. Oh, let's go with boy. Boy equals 42. So there you go. Rain Creek, Bad Naked Rebel. And Bad Naked Rebel boy, lady. 4 plus 2 equals 6. Something strange happened in the early morning hours of this morning, just before 2 a.m. I thought it was strange anyway, even though I was overtired and I'm rather prone to fucking stuff up, especially when I'm tired. In the early morning hours of today, Friday the 1st of September 2017, I was finishing filming my video titled Lady Hurricane Irma Whips Jose the Bad Boy Part 2, and I was reading what I've cut and pasted and also highlighted in green below. So I was reading this. In 6 days from now, it will be Wednesday, 6th of September 2017, which is still the case if you're living in where Jake lives, which is Minnesota. It is still 6 days until the 6th of September. And I was reading this, but when I said in 6 days from now it will be Wednesday, I said Wednesday the 20th of September 2017, and I have no idea why I said it, but I did. Have faith, Josh 10:9:45, as per my message, my dream. 9:45 p.m. in Eastern Australia is 7:45 a.m. in the Eastern USA, or 11:45 a.m. Universal Time. Will a storm make landfall at this time on Wednesday, 6th of September 2017? That was my question. That's the question I've been asking for a while. And because that's the birthday of a kid I know who reminds me of Jake, is that one there, that date. But like I said, strangely, I read this differently. I said the 20th instead of the 6th without consciously realizing it. I said in 6 days from now it will be Wednesday 20th of September 2017. Even by my standards, this is a pretty major and inexplicable fuck up. When I rewatched my video, I said out loud, what the? Why did I do that? How could I have said the 20th instead of the 6th? They aren't even remotely similar. I wasn't thinking of the 20th at all, and yet I must have. Some part of me must have been thinking 20, but 20 doesn't come into anything I said in that video. It wasn't the date, it wasn't anything. I thought about it. The 20th is exactly 14 days after the 6th. So indeed, the 20th of September 2017 will be a Wednesday. How did that happen? Did Jake just speak through me, or what? Like I said, this was in the early morning hours of Friday, 1st of September, where I live near Canberra in Australia. So it was very much still Thursday, 31st of August 2017 in Minnesota, USA. It is still the 31st of August 2017 in St. Joseph, Minnesota right now, like I've been saying. And I wonder how much time has gone. 7 minutes since I started. It's now 11:07 p.m. on Thursday, the 31st of August. And I should mention that Wetling, the name Wetling, means weather child, and the boy who's turning 15 on the 6th of September is the person who told me that Wetling means weather child. Like I said, I've already said, so it is still that time. It gets even weirder the more I think about it, because exactly 1 year earlier, possibly to the exact minute for all I know, something far stranger happened involving Jake. Again, I'd been up unusually late for me, and it was around 2 a.m. in the morning. This was on the 1st of September 2016. I was online searching Google Image for any new photos of Jacob Wetling. I had done this for at least 6 months. I had not done this for at least 6 months, and maybe it had been a year. I don't know, but it had been a while. I came across a couple of new photos of Jake, which I hadn't seen before, including one of Jake when he was a couple of years younger, by the looks. And by the looks of this younger version of Jake, looking at this younger version of Jake in this photo, I would have guessed that he was around 9 or 10 years old. He was wearing a brown shirt, and he appeared to be seated on a black leather couch. He was smiling sweetly, and his face was suntanned, so I guess the photo must have been taken during summertime. Nobody gets much sun in Minnesota during winter, and nobody has a suntan by January unless they've been down south in Texas or Florida or Louisiana or someplace like that, getting some suntanning in. So that's the photo that I'm talking about of Jake, and yeah, I'd say he's 9 or 10 in that photo, and I'm not sure what he's holding. I know he had a pet dog named Marcus. So then I came across a significantly larger version of a photo of Jake that I already had in my Jake collection. I guessed that he was probably aged 11 in this photo, and it would have been taken during the summer of 88, 89, or just a few months before he was abducted. Jake's fate was still a mystery to me then, as in a year ago, or up until a year ago. Then, as I was unaware that I was unaware that there had been recent developments in his case. The name Danny Heinrich meant nothing to me. I'd never heard of him, which later struck me as strange, given how much time I'd spent online reading lengthy, in-depth articles about Jake, with theories about who may have kidnapped him. I knew nothing about the DNA match that had been made to Danny Heinrich. In connection to Jared Sherrill, who was abducted and molested by a stranger when he was 12 at Cold Springs, just a few months before Jake was taken. I knew nothing about the raids on the home of Danny Heinrich that had been conducted by the FBI and Minnesotan police. I hadn't Googled Jake's name for some time. I had been neglecting my Minnesotan bad boy. And yeah, I had been for about a bit. Cute bad boy Jose. Danger equals 49. So Jose, the name Jose has a value of 49. And again, I can just show you that. Or you can go bad to the bone. 49 or Jose. Don't have to put capitals. Just ignore the bottom two because they're like. But yeah, that's interesting because 69 is the value of boy Jake and 35 is the value of naked. And if we go to Jose, there we go. Jose, and 7 is bad, 53 is skin. Jose equals 49. And that's just adding up the letters according to their place in the alphabet. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. I don't look at these other ones. I just give it the simple one. Cute bad boy Jose, danger equals 49. 4 plus 9 is 13, and age equals 13. Now, Friday the 1st of September 2017, which is today, where I am. It is now 2:13 p.m. on the 9th of September. So spring has sprung. I wonder how accurate that actually is. It is actually 13. Well, there you go. I have an accurate clock on my computer. Okay, so Friday the 1st of September 2017 plus 13 days equals Wednesday the 20th of September 2017, and that is the date that I accidentally said in my video last night, which was kind of weird. Why would I say the 20th? Don't know. I never predict things for the 20th. I nearly always go for odd numbers, actually. Jake. There he is. That's the photo I found the night that I googled his name, and that was linked to the article about what happened to him and the fact that his remains had actually been found, or his killer had led the police to his bones. Because after 27 years, that's all where they would have been left. After saving this photo to my Jake folder, I noticed the photo had just been uploaded to the website a few hours earlier. I went to the linked website article and my jaw dropped onto my keyboard. Figure of speech. The heading said a man had led the FBI to Jake's remains, or bones. This had only just happened. Danny Heinrich led the police to Jake's remains on Wednesday, 31st of August 2017. This is still the date in Minnesota now, though only just within an hour. Only another year has already passed. Yes, so another year has gone by, floating by, racing by. I felt like Jake had prompted me to search for his photo that night as I sat surfing the net with my laptop on my lap in bed, which is exactly what you should be doing with a laptop. As if Jake wanted me to know that his remains had been found and his fate was no longer a mystery. As if he wanted me to know what had happened to him, he had given me a little tap, like a little nudge. More than all that bad stuff, like what happened to him, I felt like Jake wanted me to know that my strongest gut feeling about him was true. Over the previous couple of years, I had begun to feel increasingly sure that what linked me to Jake, as much as anything else, and perhaps more so, other than empathy, was our similar sexuality. Our psychic link did not exist for the purpose of communicating anything to anyone. It just was and is. We just were and are very similar in some ways. Jake is my bad boy, just as Nathan Breeze is Jake's boyfriend. Nathan is also similar, and I think Nathan's sexuality and Jake's sexuality are obviously highly compatible, as are their souls and their hearts. Time and age are irrelevant. I was never able to share my sexuality with anyone when I was young and keen because of the judgmental attitude of the conservative Christian society, largely Christian, that I grew up in, which forced me to be secretive. It would have been much the same for Jake had he not been murdered, although I'm sure Jake would have thrived in life regardless. He's that kind of boy. Nothing can stop a boy like Jake. Not even murder. Not even death. Certainly not the judgments of a hateful God or a cowardly, homophobic culture, as was the case in America and Australia and pretty much every other country on Earth in 1989. We have the religious God or gods to thank for this and for all the suffering and premature deaths that resulted. I won't deny that my sexuality is rare and unusual. Same-sex attraction is part of it, but I feel like if I tell someone I'm gay, it really just does not do justice to the awesome sexuality that I've been blessed with, and without which I could never have survived. I could never have survived the cruel social stigma that comes with being labelled as a gay guy, poofter, faggot, and so much worse than that when you add all the extra words that go with those words at times, combined with being disbelieved and dismissed as a survivor of a predator when I was 13. So when you put it all together, it's sort of not the sort of thing you can easily survive or deal with. And what connects me to Jake isn't what happened to him or what happened to me. It's just who we are. Are we gay? I can't be sure if Jake is gay or bisexual, but he definitely is same-sex attracted, so he's definitely bisexual, at least. He basically worships the ground upon which his 13-year-old boyfriend Nathan Breeze walks or crawls. Nathan lost his life in Australia's worst ever bushfire disaster on Saturday the 7th of February 2009, together with 8 other people at 9 Pine Ridge Road, Kinglake West, near Melbourne in Victoria, in Australia. And I was following events that day online, not knowing that so many lives were going to be lost. Do you think I'm crazy? I don't care if you do. Maybe I'm as mad as a hatter. Maybe Jake's crazy too, given what happened to him and Nathan Breeze. I think they can both be excused if they're a bit crazy and bent and cracked and twisted. Do you wonder if maybe I'm a pedophile? I don't care if you do, and it's not because I am. I know that's the main reason why a lot of people don't and won't ever support same-sex marriage. They think homosexuals are more likely to be pedophiles, or at the very least, they worry that homosexuals might influence kids towards being gay or weird. Maybe the statistics would reflect this, the idea that homosexuals are more likely to be pedophiles. Maybe the statistics would reflect this as being true if all convicted predators told the truth about their sexual orientation, but of course they do not. That's the nature of the gay closet. People who are in the closet, they don't tell anyone anything. Given that so many, not if they're truly in the closet, given that so many homosexuals live secretive, closeted lives, and historically this is even more true, they are dictated by religious and social shame and guilt. I would expect that a higher proportion of same-sex attracted people are more likely to be mentally disturbed. It should not shock anyone that closeted same-sex attracted people might be more likely to trick or force people into non-consensual sexual activities than those who are able to openly search for potential sexual partners, and even just to be able to be themselves and be natural. The same can be said about any group of people that is likely to be shamed into self-denial and secrecy. Statistics cannot reveal the impact of the closet, because truly closeted predators such as the Aussie Belanglo backpacker killer, Irma Malat, do not admit or disclose anything to anyone. And Ivan's never confessed to his crimes. He's never admitted anything, even after so many years in jail. Jake and Nathan might be crazy, and I think I can be excused too for being crazy. Am I dangerous? I don't know. Are Jake and his boyfriend dangerous? Are female blonde Swedish rock singers from the early 80s dangerous? A lot of people refuse to believe that anything bad happened to me as a boy, but I don't care about that anymore. Narrowly escaping from a predator when I was 13 didn't fuck me up in and of itself. Being disbelieved and coldly ignored by bigoted people who judged me and made me feel dangerous after ruthlessly exploiting me and using me most definitely changed me. Now I'm a prophet on behalf of a cute young gay couple who seem to think Lucifer is more like a more likable character than God in the Bible. So, yeah, of course Lucifer's more likable than God. God's so judgmental in the Bible, whereas Lucifer barely gets a mention except when he's being thrown around by God. Being subjected to the ugly, judgmental, and guilt-riddling side of Catholicism during my late childhood and early teenage years definitely fucked me up in a massive way mentally, and that was because I took God seriously. I don't take the hateful and judgmental God or gods of any mainstream religion seriously anymore. If God doesn't have a sense of humour and the ability to laugh like a human being with a sense of humour, he or she can fuck right off away from me. There are no shortage of fundamentalist Christians and Muslims who say that homosexuals are the children of Satan. The snake, in turn, is meant to be the devil, Lucifer, a fallen angel of God in heaven. I don't know if this satanic label for queers extends to bisexuals, but either way, I can see exactly why die-hard religious people would think this way. They're demented. Who do you think terrorists and other religious zealots are punishing in their own twisted minds when they torture or maim or kill their enemies with vans or suicide bombs or trucks or whatever, or guns? Which people yell out praise for their God prior to self-detonating their suicide vests with monotonous regularity? Who were the September 11 pilots praying to as they steered hijacked airliners toward the ill-fated Twin Towers and the ill-fated people in those towers and on those planes? Do you reckon they were praying to Satan? They weren't. They were hell-bent on destroying what they saw as the great Satan, which they saw as being the United States, and they were praying to Allah. Allah is simply a name for God in the Islamic faith. Who do you reckon Australia's worst ever serial killer, John Bunting, was torturing in his own twisted mind, given that he later praised himself for taking out the trash? Do you think cold-hearted pricks like the intensely homophobic John Bunting and those who assisted him are punishing God or Satan? John Bunting used to make his victims call him my Lord and my God while kneeling before him prior to and during their extreme torture. Prior to and during their extreme torture. So I suppose that gives you a fair indication as to who Bunting felt spiritually aligned with. It wasn't Satan. Who is the real devil? What is wrong with humanity? What is wrong with the world? Why are people so dishonest and fucked up? The serpent is a slave to God in the Garden of Eden, and this is why the serpent has more in common with Adam and Eve than what Adam and Eve have in common with God, who vengefully and cruelly booted the disobedient pair out of his divine orchard, along with the serpent, who is likewise punished and turned into an enemy of the bad humans, after the snake told Adam and Eve that if they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they could be as the gods. I can see why this would piss off a dictatorial control freak like Yahweh. And it wouldn't matter if the control freak was God or just some dictator like the president of North Korea. They don't want to share their power or their privilege. Nazi God kid equals 50, a bad boy. Jacob's apple, snake, equals 50. The name Jose means God will give increase. Irma sounds like the name of a snake to me. Irma the squirmer. Kinky equals 70. Spanked, secret, shadow, zombie. Boy is excited. Irma had, and here we jump, I should mention, from 70 to 54. Boy is excited. Irma had caned Jake, equals 54. Love equals 54. And if you add them together, 70 and 54, you get zombie love, or you get 20th of September equals 124, which is the date I accidentally said. 20th of September, and the pond boy. Mirror, the boy's wet face. The vanity, the mirror of his soul. Jacob's bad soul. Jacob's bad killer. He is closeted brat. Was sinful. Serpent Jake, queer feeling, the gay feeling. Irma the snake. Psychic Irma. Psychic Kana. Caned Kinky Jake. Psychic Brat. He is psychic. Jacob and Joshua equals 124. 12 plus 4 equals 16. And you might be surprised that I have any time for Christianity at all, after everything else I said, but I actually think Jesus may not have been, or I call him Joshua, just to distinguish him from the false image in the Bible. I think Joshua was a real adolescent, and I think he died as an adolescent, which makes him more someone that I can connect with. I don't trust adults so easily. 12 plus 1 equals 16. Monday, the 21st of August, 2017, which was the 17th birthday of a boy named Josh, who I actually do know, plus 16 days lands you on Wednesday, the 6th of September, 2017, which is coming up in 5 days. Flexible, Snake Boy Jake, equals 194. Jacob's my prophecy, my snake prophecy, Serpent Hurricane, the Dark Storm Boy, Dark Jake Wetterling, Bad Boy Flogging Irma, Irma the Squirmer, equals 194. And the cool thing about doing this stuff is you can just cut and paste, go back to here, go back to my thing, check it in. Don't have to worry about the numbers because it doesn't add up numbers. Irma the Squirmer equals 194. So you can check things, go back, whatever. 194 plus 124, which is the other number we were just working on, the value of Psychic Irma, or Irma the Snake, is a good one. So add them together, 194 and 124. Irma whips Jose, the Squirmer, equals 318. Jose is my serpent prophecy. Jose is my hurricane prophecy. Jake's warning about a freak storm. He is forewarning us of a storm. Jacob's genuine birthday prophecy. Jacob's genuine bad weather prophecy. Obviously I'm not talking about Jake's birthday because it's back in February. But there was actually, I did make an accurate prediction for Jake's birthday back on Friday the 17th of February 2017, and that was relating to a bushfire. Jacob's genuine bad weather prophecy. The dangerous weather system. My vision of have faith Josh 10. Have faith Josh 10 equals 318. And if you take 331 plus 8, you get 39. And interestingly, 8 is also a number that connects to Jake in all kinds of ways, because I won't go into that, but it does. 31 plus 8 equals 39. 10 is 39. Feared, angel, afraid, he's bad, equals 39. 3 times 9 equals 27. Code red by Jake, MN, Minnesota, equals 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. And it looks like... yes. I'm just going to delete Minnesota so that I can bring up this. Yes, this is Irma, I guess. Quite a pretty gal. And obviously Irma, the snake lady. And I is 9, September is the 9 month. Tropical storm Jose, or Hurricane Jose, will make landfall at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, local US time, or 11:45 a.m. Universal Time, or 9:45 p.m. Australian Time in Canberra, Australia. Well, that's been my prediction all along, and who knows? Now that Irma has formed, maybe Irma's going to make landfall somewhere at that time on the 6th, and maybe Jose will do so. Maybe not until the 20th. I have to wait and see. So there's Jake. Another photo of Jake, which I discovered a year ago when I went searching for photos. And Jacob Irwin Wetting equals 233. Like I was saying, the number 8 relates to Jake because 2 plus 3 plus 3 equals 8. And 8 is also the value. If you write 8 out as a word, this is pretty cool. 8, which is Jake's number in many ways, equals 49, which is the value you might recall of bad boy. So Jacob Owen Wetterling is 233. September 20 Kane is 233. And I am September 20 is 233. 23 times 3, or Kane times 3, is 69. And 69... I just realised something. Sting also equals 69. So Kane times 3 is 69. It's also the value of Sting. There are 69 days between Jake's birthday and my birthday. Eclipse equals 69. The child, gay child, the real stigma. And there we have a picture from the Jungle Book. The Jungle Boy with his snake friend. And jungle snakes equals 69. Red Rain, that's the name of the novel by R.L. Stein, which has two 12-year-old twins, identical twins, Daniel and Samuel. Reflect, Jacob, my caned boy. Texas, boy Jake. Chambers, I'm blonde. 6 of the 9th, 6-9. It's how we write it in Australia. Americans do it the other way around. And speaking of Americans, that's Jake Chambers from The Dark Tower by Stephen King. And I thought, back when I found that photo of Jake, that young photo of Jake, I thought, yeah, I can see Jake Chambers there, in some ways. But I also thought that when I looked at this photo. So, we have Jake from The Dark Tower, we have Jake Chambers, we have Jake Wetterling, whose surname means Weatherchild, and now we have Hurricane Irma, Category 2, in the Atlantic. And pretty amazed that the time 9:45 has come up twice now. It was the time of Harvey's landfall in Texas, and it's the time that this photo was taken of Irma. Catch up.